I'm here with Dane from Team 6210E, the VEX IQ team from Heritage Christian School in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hi, Dane.
Hello.
And we decided that we were going to do some analysis on last year's performance on VEX IQ Bank Shot. What we've done is created a spreadsheet of the region by region performance and analyzed it by several rankings here. We decided to go with the number of banners won at VEX Worlds 2016. There's only 10 banners total in all of VEX IQ, 5 for elementary and 5 for middle school. And so we've combined elementary and middle school together and ranked each of these regions, either a state or country. We've also take a look at VEX World trophies, the total number of trophy counts, and then we've looked at some of the skill scores. First place robot skills, 10th place robot skills, and then top 20 average, and same for programming. All right, Dane, you ready to get started?
Now let's take a look at our 4 honorable mentions. Colorado, Virginia, Maryland, and Oklahoma.
Okay, all 4 of these teams didn't win any banners at Worlds, but they all won some trophies. They all have varying degrees of robot skill scores, and you can see that we try to rank them sort of in order, where Colorado's the best of the honorable mentions, and maybe Oklahoma's the worst of those. But all 4 of those teams or all 4 of those states, those U.S. states, are very comparable in their performance, and they were all good enough to where we thought they deserved some honorable mention. Okay.
At number 10 is Florida. Now, across the board, Florida did pretty average with a really good first place robot skills score. But what really stands out is this top 20 robot skills average, 58.7.
Yeah, it just shows that there's real strong competition deep into the field in Florida. Lots of teams that are putting up lots of good scores. 58 average of their top 20 teams is very impressive. And the 33 average at top 20 program skills is as good as we've seen as well. So good depth of strength of field in Florida.
On to number 9, Michigan. Now, Michigan didn't win any trophies at Worlds, but its skill scores made up for it.
Yeah, you can see that this no trophies at Worlds is the first and maybe the only one on our list that doesn't have that. But Michigan's got a very strong field, and you can see that 65 averages and this 47 average, that top 20 average is really strong. So maybe not. We don't have the top scores to compete with the Florida and the Colorado scores. You certainly have a better depth of competition in those top 20 schools in Michigan. Okay.
On to number 8, British Columbia.
All right, we're going north of the border. We're in Canada. I guess technically that's a province in Canada, but we're going to term it as a state. One of the parts of Canada in a region, and we'll act like it's a state. So British Columbia, interestingly enough, they won one of the banners at Worlds. That's a big to-do, and a couple of trophies. And boy, look at that top place skill score. Unbelievable. And those top place scoring scores, awesome. Really awesome. However, what's going on here?
They only have 9 teams that competed in programming.
So they don't even have a 10th place programming skill, and obviously that really hurts your top 20 average as well when your 10th through 20th places are all zeros. So they aren't higher up the list because they just don't have the depth of competition. They got some really excellent top-notch teams at the top, but competition falls off very quickly in British Columbia. Okay.
On to number 7, Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania has 2 VEX World trophies, a very impressive 156 robot skill score, but not a very good average.
Yeah, Pennsylvania suffers from the same thing that British Columbia does a little bit there. Not quite as much, but you can see that the competition or the strength of the competition drops off pretty quickly. That 10th place robot skill scores of 50. Down here you have to go down to Colorado and Virginia before you see those, as compared to Michigan having 70, and the averages are helped a little bit by those really high top end scores. Their averages on skills, top 20 skills, is pretty good too. So obviously they're deserving of that 7th place ranking.
Alrighty, on to number 6, Ontario.
All right, we're back in Canada again here, another state in Canada, province I guess we call it. And Ontario had a very impressive Worlds. Look at the banner from Ontario and the 5 trophies. Those are very impressive.
An impressive top first place robot skills score of 144, and a very impressive average of a top 20 robot skills average of 66.
Yeah, that's the best we've seen so far. 66 is a little bit better than Michigan. Michigan had that really strong depth of field. The top programming score is not quite as big as those ones below, but still very respectable. But again, the 10th place programming skill scores of 26. That's just parking on the ramp. So that wasn't the impressive number you need, and the average, the programming average, is also 29, not impressive. So you got another problem here, like you have with British Columbia, where Ontario has some really, really super stellar, top-notch teams, but they don't quite have the depth of competition that a lot of these other states do. So they don't get higher up on the list because of that.
Alrighty, on to number 5. Puerto Rico.
All right, Puerto Rico. They had an impressive World's Haul as well. 1 banner, 3 trophies, some great scores, and then look at this. Wow, 83. So you got 20 teams, top 20 teams averaging 83 in driver skills, and even the highest number over here too on program skills, 52. So clearly Puerto Rico deserves its spot.
Yes, absolutely. On to number 4, Hawaii.
All right, Hawaii's got a great resume as well. They got the 5 trophies, equal to that of Ontario. Don't have a banner. They weren't able to break through and win one of those world championships. But they do have very good scores, and look at these numbers. My goodness, 100 for the 10th place.
95!
95 average. It's just way above everybody below them. And then in the programming, also very good scores.
Very respectable.
Yeah, very respectable. So Hawaii deserves a spot there in 4th. And on to number 3.
Number 3 is Indiana.
Indiana, and obviously our team is from Indiana,
Yep.
and so we had a hard time with this Indiana versus Hawaii conundrum. As you can see, that Indiana has the 2 banners. That's very impressive compared to Hawaii's 0, and the 5 trophies equal to Hawaii. Slightly better skill scores, worse than the 10th place skill score. Don't quite have the depth of competition they have here in Indiana as they do in Hawaii. And the top 20 was respectable. The better programming skills and the worse 10th place and the worse slightly better average. And if you compare all those things up, it's a 3 to 4 slight edge for Indiana. So I think we've got Indiana in the right spot, being 3rd place. And again, very solid, respectable averages, and boy, the banners and the trophies, that really makes the difference.
Yeah. On to number 2, California.
Now California, wow, 10 trophies at Worlds. That was impressive.
Wow.
Got the 2 banners also, so you mix them. Shows that they're really good at the top and they're good throughout, and these numbers are amazing too. 100 points for the 10th place score, 104 average. Wow, that's even better than Hawaii's down there. That 118 top score and the 68 average, that's the best we've seen as well here. So clearly California deserves a spot here. They're a class of the U.S. states. Only one state or country is going to beat them, and I wonder if you can guess what it is.
I wonder too. On to number 1, China.
China, the whole country of China gets the credit for this. We couldn't figure out how to break the teams into different regions or states or whatever in China, so we just lumped them all together in one country. Puerto Rico is also one country, so we kind of gave them one big lump. China's a little bit bigger than that. But China, with their 3 banners and their 12 trophies and their massive scores, look at this, 151 average for the top 20 and 114 average in their top 20.
That is 50. Their robot skills average is almost 50 above the one below.
Wow, that's just really incredible, top-notch competition, and not just 1 or 2 schools, but lots of schools in China really knocking it out. So when we look at these, you think, how big are these different regions in total population?
Yeah. So we did some research and we figured out that here they are.
And there you go. Population of China, 1.36 billion people, compared to California, which is big, has only got 39 million. And look, there's 12 million and 13 million for Pennsylvania, Ontario, 20 for Florida. So clearly China has a huge advantage over the other, as far as population goes, the other regions here. And, there's some other really impressive performances here. Hawaii, with their 1.4 million people up here in the top 4, very impressive. And even,
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, obviously very impressive as well as Indiana compared to the other regions and countries around them. So, very impressive. But since we're looking at countries' population, we thought maybe we should compare country to country. So we decided to look at how countries stack up to each other, entire countries versus entire countries. And here's our list. So, we've got a top 4 list, because really after the top 4, the countries fall off pretty quickly. So here's number 4.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, we saw them on the top 10 list in the region. They're going to come right over here with that one banner, the 3 trophies, those good skill scores. Puts Puerto Rico right up there as a very impressive, small but impressive country. Number 3.
Canada.
Canada, British Columbia, and Ontario and Quebec get all combined together, and you can see the 2 banners, the 7 trophies, the big skill scores. Clearly, Canada was better than Puerto Rico. On to number 2.
China.
China's not number 1 on this list. Their 3 banners and their 12 trophies was impressive, and their skill scores are just unbelievably good. But number 1 on the list is
The United States.
Yeah, the United States. The United States has a little bit less better scores here as far as the top 10s and the 20s and the averages. But, whew, 4 banners and 34 trophies at Worlds makes up the difference. And now you can see that the total number of banners won at Worlds was 10. And if I do my math right, 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 adds up to 10.
Yeah.
So all 4 of these countries make up for all 10 of the banners that were won. And with the exception of a few countries of Peru and Australia and a couple others thrown in, Lebanon, I think, most of the trophies in Vex IQ are won by these 4 countries as well. So this is kind of the who's who of who's good at Vex IQ last year. It'll be interesting to see how it works out next year. So hopefully we'll see you back, and we'll do a video like this again
Next year.
next year.
Bye.